What is high ticket sales? High ticket is selling a product anywhere between 1K all the way to 1 million, right? But especially in the high ticket online space, you're going to typically sell stuff from anywhere between 1K all the way to 20K, right? So, with high ticket in particular, there's always an influencer who has an audience and he also has an offer, a course, and mentorship. So, in order for somebody to purchase something over 1K, realistically, they're going to need to speak to a person, like a middleman, before they actually make that purchase, right? So the audience or the influencer, he can't necessarily take those calls because at the end of the day, his schedule is too busy. He's the person driving the business forward. So that's where he brings in a sales team, and that's where you come in, and you'll be able to earn a percentage of the money that you close from the audience. So sales, it's a skill that you develop. The better you get at it, the more techniques you add, the more money you make, the more you're able to live the lifestyle that you want to live, right? So sales, it's about bettering your technique, understanding what steps you need to implement, and gradually improving day by day by day. That's how so many people are able to make 5, 10K, 20K per month in sales. Sales comes down, I would say, mainly to this: pain. This is the biggest thing in sales. So, what do I mean by pain? Pain comes down to so many different things for different people. Pain for me would be the fact I haven't hit a million. I don't have a million in my bank account. Pain for you could be you don't have food to feed the family. For example, pain is different for people, and it's extremely important for you to target that. Because if you don't, people aren't going to purchase because there's no reason for them to. But if you're able to highlight to them why do they even want to do this in the first place, and you ultimately are able to say it, they're not saying it to you, but they're saying it to themselves. They realize, oh my gosh, I actually need to make a change. Because nobody buys on logical, like everyone buys on emotion, right? In order to actually get someone emotional, sorry, it actually comes down to pain. Understanding why it's important for them to actually take action. Because if you don't, and you just give them an offer, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go back into their comfort zone. Sales is about taking somebody out of their discomfort zone and doing something so that they can finally get to your goals. So in order for you to do that, you need to get pain, right? So there's always a current situation, and there's a desired situation. And what you want to do, actually, no, I don't like this. And what you want to do is with your conversation, you want to hit on both these points. Because if you're able to do that, guess what you're able to get? Pain. Because it's the gap. So if I know here you're speaking to a person, they work in McDonald's, they earn 2,000 per month, rent is 1,500, no money to do anything. I cannot spell. This is the pain. They can't do anything with their life, right? So once I ask these questions, I'm able to identify what exactly the current situation is. I'm going to move on to the desired situation. Okay? So what is it that you actually are looking to do, right? Because many people, they don't go through this whole process unless they actually want to take action. So I'm telling you, what is about this made you want to take action to actually book the call? I just finally want to make 10K per month. Okay. And many people, they say they want to make 10K per month, but why do you actually want to do it? I want to do it so I can finally stop worrying about more money. Worry about money? Worry about money? And I always say that because I always try and get them as emotional as possible. Because if I don't, they're going to go back to their comfort zone. So now I have a clear understanding of what exactly the situation is. And I understand that what we do will be able to help them. That's why I get them emotional. Because if I don't, they're going to be stuck in the life that they don't want from themselves at the end of the day. So it's up to you as an expert, as somebody who's ultimately willing to do the right thing, to ultimately bridge that gap and give them the game plan that they need to finally get to their goals. Because once you believe in something, you know it will actually benefit the person, you see the company, you know it's also going to impact lives, why not get that person out of their comfort zone? That's what you are here for, is to help bridge that gap. Because if you don't, they're always going to go back to where they used to. And it's not their fault, that's just the way we are designed as humans. So that's sales 101 and understanding how to actually get more out of the people that you're ultimately speaking to. It's about getting that pain. The next thing I always like to ask is the why now, right? Because you also want to get urgency. If you don't get urgency, people will be like, yeah, I'll just push it for later. You need to call it out for them. You need to be the rock that they can ultimately lean on. So you'd be like, yeah, I'll just do it for later. Okay, no worries, no worries. So I guess why now, right? Like, why go through this whole process? Like, why do you feel it's actually important for you to actually make a change? Um, Now though, I just feel it's important for me to make a change because I'm unsatisfied in my life. Okay, cool. Help me understand. Like, let's say if we don't make a change, if we continue the same route we've been going on, what changes then? He'll start to realize, and he'll say it to himself that I'll just be stuck in a cycle. Okay, is that something you're willing to settle for? Nah, not really, not really. Okay, but why not though? Because for so long I've just not really enjoyed what I've been doing. Okay. See how I'm able to get a bit more urgency, and I'm able to do this in the right way. So that way, whenever I go on to the later stages of the call and I ask for the close, I ask for the money, they're gonna give it to me because I've got them in the right mental space of thinking, not their usual way of thinking. And just to break it down further, right? The way a call structure typically goes, I cannot spell. Okay, whatever. We have beginning. Uh, let's say we have this. We have beginning. We have discovery. We have pitch, close, objections. Beginning is quite simple. Ask how your life is going, how things are going on, how's the family, all that type of stuff. You just want to show that you're an actual human being. Next thing is discovery, where we kind of just touched where we find the current situation, find desired, we understand the actual problem. What is the problem? Why book this call? What's the issue? We find the actual problem. Then the next thing is the pitch. Once you're able to actually get the information off the person, right? You understand what the problem is, why they ultimately booked this call. Then your job next is to pitch or talk about your product, the company's product, the company that you're working for's product, in a way that actually solves their issue. So if they highlighted that their lack of freedom is a reason why they're feeling dissatisfied, I could talk about, let's say we're talking about high ticket sales, for example, because that's just what I know. I'd be like, okay, cool. So this is exactly how high ticket sales changed my life and how I believe we'll be able to help yours to get that freedom that we talked about. Blah 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 blah. I'll talk about my product. I'll talk about how it's ultimately going to impact them. Talk about the transformation, right? Talk about sugar. Talk about the transformation, not just a bunch of useless information. The transformation. Because think about it. Anytime you buy something online, something that's not like food, but like something that's ultimately going to benefit you, it's always, the way they talk is always about your transformation. What you're going to be like once you actually receive the information that you're getting, right? So you finally be able to afford the car, get the girl, get the freedom. Once you get the product that you're selling. Because where so many people get it wrong, they just talk about, if you come into high ticket sales, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. But that doesn't work anymore. What people actually want is a personalized game plan that's going to help them get out of their current situation. Once you're able to successfully communicate that, boom, job done, your money, you're eating good, they're getting a solution for their issues, the business owner is happy, everybody's all happy clappy, we all go about our day and we start just chilling at the end of the day. So that's why it's so important to get this right. The pitch, understanding the specifics of sales and how you can basically present yourself in the best way possible to solve their issue, because they've already told you what their issue is. It's just up to you to personalize it, so that way you can give them the game plan to finally get to their goals. Hopefully this is making sense, but if it doesn't, just feel free to replay it, take your time with it. It's all gonna make sense once you actually take your time, you take notes. It's all about the psychology of this at the end of the day. The next thing is the close. This is always the most awkward part. But what you need to realize, when it comes to the money part, they know what's coming, right? You know what's coming. Drop the guard. Just be. Everyone feels awkward during this part, right? Just drop the guard. Just show you're a normal human being. Joke with them. Yep. The next part is the close. The next part um, is to the commitment. Ready to get started? Excited? I always do this and I always joke around because I want them to lower the guard and feel like it's alright. It's okay to say no, right? Because many people, it's like this huge pressure moment, they can feel it, and the anxiety is at an all time high. You just want to drop it down a bit. Joke with them. Just try and be cool about it. You need to be the rock, especially to them, as they're depending on you. Now they're gonna give you the money. You need to be the rock. You need to be like, yep, I'm so certain we can do this. Some nonchalant look. You know what I mean? So that they can believe that you'll be able to help them. But yeah, the close is always a tricky part, but I would never even think about it. I don't even think about it too much. I just be like, ready to get started? Yeah, okay, cool. So to order to get you from where you're currently at to get more freedom, it's going to be an investment of 10,000 altogether. Cool. I'm expecting them to say, "Oh, that's too expensive." Like that's totally normal for me. I'd feel weird if they didn't say it's too expensive. So during this part, it's all about just being a rock. For me, like I expect it. I don't expect it to be like, okay, let's go, done. No, that doesn't happen. You need to be emotionally ready, and this is where the mindset we talked about earlier on kind of comes into play. But you need to be emotionally intact in order to be ready for this. So once they start throwing you objections, you're just like, cool, all ready to go. The next module, I'll start diving deeper into it, objections and stuff. But you just need to be the rock that they can ultimately depend on during the stage of the call. So hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully you enjoyed that. I found that really, really useful. Um, but yeah, let me know if you have any other questions in the Telegram, the Discord, anywhere you have my contact. Just let me know. I'll be able to dive deeper, break it down further to kind of get you to go towards your goals as well. Let me know.